The night was cold enough to make the cracked windows whistle, but Naomi Carter barely noticed the wind sliding through the apartment. She sat on the edge of the old mattress, watching her 3 children sleep closely together, their small bodies hidden under thin blankets. Her deep dark skin glowed faintly under the dim streetlight leaking into the room, and the exhaustion on her face looked heavier than anything she had carried before. It had been 3 weeks since Marcus disappeared. 3 weeks of silence, unanswered calls, unpaid bills, and lies. She didn't even realize he had been stacking around her. Baltimore had always been hard on her, but now it felt like a predator waiting outside the door. She pressed her hands against her temples, trying to stop the pounding. The noise wasn't from her mind this time. It was real. A sharp, aggressive knock echoed through the walls. Naomi froze. Her heartbeat quickened. She knew that knock. It wasn't the landlord. It wasn't a neighbor. It was them, the debt collectors. Marcus had been hiding from. She moved quietly, crossing the dim living room with careful steps, as if sound alone could put her children in danger. Through the peephole, she saw 2 men dressed in black jackets, scanning the hallway like wolves. One held a clipboard, the other tapped the door again. Harder. Naomi pulled back instantly, breath trembling. Her instincts screamed at her to stay silent, but the fear of their persistence clawed at her chest. If they kept knocking, the kids would wake up, and if they woke up, they'd be terrified. For a moment, Naomi thought about her life before the Chaos-to warm mornings. Marcus laughing, the kids running around the kitchen. But that felt like a memory from someone else's world. These men outside, they were here because of him, because he left her with more than heartbreak. He left her hunted. Then the voice came through the door. Naomi Carter, open up. We need to talk about Marcus. Her blood ran cold. They knew her name. She stepped back slowly, clutching the thin fabric of her coat. Her children shifted in their sleep behind her, unaware that danger stood inches away. And for the first time since Marcus vanished, Naomi realized something terrifying. This wasn't just about debts anymore. These men wanted something and they weren't leaving without it. The knocking stopped, but the silence that followed was worse. Naomi stood in the middle of the room, breathing quietly, listening for every footstep outside. The men whispered to each other, their voices muffled through the peeling walls. She tried to catch fragments of their conversation, but heard only pieces. Us ran off. Not just money. Every word pressed against her sense of safety like a blade. Suddenly, the doorknob rattled. Naomi slapped a hand over her mouth, forcing herself not to gasp. They were testing it, checking if it was locked, checking if she was alone. Her youngest son, Caleb, stirred in the next room, letting out a small, sleepy whimper. Naomi rushed to him, kneeling beside the mattress. She gently placed her hand on his back, whispering, baby, Mommy's here." Her deep dark skin glowed softly as the streetlight flickered again, casting nervous shadows across the floor. The men moved away from the door at last, footsteps echoing down the hall. But Naomi could still feel their presence, like storm clouds refusing to leave. She waited until she was certain they were gone before she grabbed her phone and opened the messages Marcus left before disappearing. Most were empty promises. Some were but the last one, the one she never showed anyone, was a single sentence that haunted her. If they come, don't open the door, no matter what. Naomi swallowed hard, He had known. He knew they would come for him. He knew they would come for her. She stood up and moved through the apartment, gathering anything that looked important: birth certificates, school papers, the small folder of emergency cash she had been saving. The children needed safety. She needed distance from this place, from these men, from the debts she didn't create. But leaving Baltimore, where would she go? Who would take in a mother with 3 kids? No money, and no car. The city felt like a trap she couldn't escape. Yet staying felt like waiting for the wolves to return. Then, another sound pierced the air. A message. Her phone buzzed in her hand. Unknown number. We'll be back tomorrow. Make sure you reawake. Naomi's knees weakened. She grabbed the wall, fingers trembling. This wasn't a warning. It was a countdown. Time was slipping away, and tomorrow could change everything. She looked toward her children and felt something ignite inside her, not fear, but resolve. If danger was coming, she wouldn't face it helplessly. She would fight. She would survive. She would protect them, even if she had to run through the night to do it. Dawn arrived slowly, painting the sky with faded blues over the streets of Baltimore. Naomi hadn't slept a second. She sat at the table, head lowered, her deep dark skin illuminated by the pale morning light as she read the threatening message again and again. The weight of reality pressed against her chest. Tomorrow meant judgment, confrontation, possibly violence. She didn't have the luxury of time anymore. Her oldest son, Isaiah, woke first. At 12 years old, he was already carrying more than he should. His dark skin and tired eyes reflected the same exhaustion Naomi felt. "Mom, are we moving again?" he asked quietly. Naomi hesitated. She didn't want to lie, but she couldn't tell him everything. Not yet. "We might," she whispered, "but I need you to be strong today. Strong for your brother and sister." He nodded, understanding more than a child should. As the morning went on, Naomi made small preparations, packing essentials, discarding anything unnecessary, rehearsing in her mind what she would do if the debt collectors returned. Every sound outside made her flinch. Every footstep in the hallway made her heart race. She wanted to scream, cry, break down, but her children were watching. By afternoon, the tension was unbearable. Naomi checked the windows, locked the door twice, and kept her phone in her pocket. Her thoughts spiraled through worst-case scenarios, but she forced herself to breathe. She was a mother. Mothers don't get the luxury of falling apart. Then, at 5:13 p.m., there it was. The knock. 3 slow, heavy bangs that shook her to the core. Her children froze. Naomi stood up, body trembling but eyes fierce. Before she could say anything, a voice spoke from the other side. "Naomi, last chance. Open the door." She didn't move, didn't answer, didn't breathe. The doorknob twisted violently, then again, then harder. Her youngest began to cry. Isaiah pulled his siblings close. Naomi stepped in front of them, shielding them with her body. Her heart thundered, but her voice was steady when she whispered, "Stay behind me, no matter what happens." No mataroro? Ermasis. Ere. The banging stopped abruptly. Then Footsteps, slow, moving away. But not too far. A final message slid under the door. Naomi stared at the envelope, fear crawling up her spine. She picked it up with shaking hands and opened it. Inside, there was no bill, no warning, just a picture. A picture of Marcus tied to a chair, bruised, terrified, and a handwritten note. Tomorrow, midnight. Bring what he owes, or you're next. Naomi felt her world collapse and rebuild in the same breath. This wasn't about money anymore. This was a trap, a threat. A war she never asked for, but she wasn't running anymore. She lifted her chin, wiped her tears, and looked at her children. Tomorrow, she whispered, everything changes. If you want to know what happens next, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and stay ready for episode 3. The story is just beginning.